even to stave off or delay the onset of illnesses like Alzheimer's disease, which we all dread. And I'm also going to talk about how when we start to take care of our brains, it turns out it helps the rest of our bodies. And if you can fix your brain for longevity, the rest will follow. So when we get done today, I would hope that most of you have a few tools to do a little better with your everyday memory challenges, which are really quite common. Now, to put this in perspective, I always like to show this picture of healthy aging. And this is what I want to be doing when I'm in my 70s. The chances are I will not be doing this because I've never pole vaulted in my entire life. So the point is, there's a certain amount of genetic predisposition as far as how well and how long we live. So genetics are important. Yet there's a lot of variability in what we can achieve. If you look at this slide, this is quite interesting. You see John Kelly over here on this side at a young age, at 27, he completed the Boston Marathon in about 2 hours and 40 minutes. And he kept running throughout his life. And when he was 83, he completed it in about twice the time, about 5 hours and 40 minutes. But look at Ed Whitlock. In his 70s, he completed the Boston Marathon in about the same amount of time that Kelly did in his 20s. So huge variability. Now, I'm sure many of you know who this is, right? Who is this? Very good, thank you, David Crosby. I just gave a talk at my son's middle school, and one person knew who it was. What happens as we age, our bodies change. And here's David Crosby today. And I went to his concert recently, and he could still harmonize. He sounded great. It was a lot of fun. But his voice was not as crisp. The harmony was not as perfect as it used to be. And you can see his hair is gray. He's probably happy that he has hair. But these are typical physical age reminders. Your first gray hair. My 13-year-old, my daughter, when she was 13, she asked me if I had started to paint my hair white. So that was an age reminder for me. The first time someone calls you Mr. or Ma'am, right? That's a wake-up call. Sir, that's very hostile. Or as the typical middle-age pauses or the senior moments where you walk into a room and you can't remember why. And, we think about aging, and we have lots of feelings about it and perceptions about it. There's a term, ageism, that Robert Butler, the founding director of the National Institute on Aging, came up with. And it's basically prejudice against older people. And the comedian George Carlin, he shows us how our language comes into play. He talks about becoming 21 is very positive. But then you turn 30 as if you're sour milk. Then you push 40. And you have to reach to 50. And if you're lucky, you make it to 60. And then you hit 70 very slowly. And what this brings up is a term that marketers talk about.